bookmarks or dog ears, or breaking the spine or not? Just one way to find out. Hello and welcome back everybody to my channel. Today I thought I'd entertain you with a tag video. Originally I thought I'd do a tag video when I reach 100 subscribers, but and I thought I'd do it, I think it's called the YouTube newbie tag or something like that, but this was also very close to my appearance on Dear Dr. Fantasy, and I think I answered more or less all the questions for that tag in that video. If by any chance you haven't seen that, I will link it down below in the description box. So I thought, okay, I need something else, and I found two tags. One is called the Reading Habits tag, and I think it was first done by, let's just check that I don't say something wrong, Sydney Page Books is the channel. At least this is how far I could follow it back, so that she might be the originator of this. And the other one I found with a German booktuber. Her channel is called Dragon Stories, and she has something called Entweder oder tag, so either or tag, and it has a couple of additional interesting questions. Now there's a bit of overlap, but I thought I just will have those two merged together, and then you know everything about how I read, why I read, when I read, and whatever else burning questions you might have. Okay, let's start with the Reading Habits tag. So first question, do you have a certain place at home for reading? Mostly yes. So I either read, if I get time in the afternoon, I might read in this room here. This is also my studio space, and there is a chair which you can't see, it's over there. So I might use that to read, but I read mostly in the evening time before I go to sleep. So in bed then is the other time I read and the other place I read. Also some ask, because we're talking about this as my studio space, some ask about art, so I smuggled some into the background there. I might put it onto the screen as well so that you can see it a bit better. This piece is called Impossibilities. It's oil on canvas. It's called Impossibilities because it has a couple of features that are not possible, like it's not really clear is it day or night. Also we have two different plants or three different plants, but for one we have seed heads, for the other one we have foliage, and this can't be because one is in spring, the other thing is in autumn. And the last one is we have bumblebees, and all the plants we see are actually not pollinating plants, so tough times for those bees actually. Okay, next question. Bookmark or random piece of paper? Either or. I stuff into my books whatever I can find. I have bookmarks and mostly use them, but if I need something, anything will do. But I do not dog ear my pages. No, that would be a big no. No. Can you just stop reading, or do you have to stop after a chapter a certain amount of pages? I can just start and stop just as needed. I'm not fussy about that, not at all. Do you eat or drink while reading? Mostly not. I might have a glass of water or a cup of coffee or something, but that would be it. Next question, which is number 5. Multitasking, music or TV while reading? No, I would find that far too distracting. Definitely not. Reading, no, sorry, number 6, one book at a time or several at once. Now this is a bit weird because when I was still working as a university lecturer and having to do seminars and lectures on literature, I wouldn't have had any problems to have several books on a go, no problem at all. But I don't know, the longer I'm away from this, the more and more I seem to have developed into the one book at a time type of person. which is a bit weird, I have to say, but maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just a feature of getting older. I have no idea, but yeah, these days really one book after another. Also, I mean, I have the luxury to do this. There is no pressure that I have to have something finished at a certain time or whatever, so I can just suit myself and read when and what and how, so it's wonderful. So number 7, reading at home or everywhere. Everywhere. When I was still working, I would read on my commute, so on the bus and on the train. I can read in the car if I'm not driving and somebody else is driving. I have not this problem that some people have with motion sickness, so I can just read anywhere at any time. It's brilliant. 8, reading out loud or silently in your head. Mostly silently in my head, unless it's some poetry that would compel me to read it out loud because the sound pattern or something of this, or the rhythm or the metrics is important and it might be actually helpful to actually hear it, then I would read it out loud. And then, of course, all those passages I read out aloud in classes, which my students had to suffer through. Yeah, but otherwise I read silently in my head. 9, do you read ahead or even skip pages? No, I don't skip anything. I think it's important if it's in the book, and I think also it's important in a particular order. If the author put it in a book at that particular point, then probably it's supposed to be there. So no, I don't skip ahead, nor do I kind of like skip pages or anything. I read really everything, and I'm a very slow reader. Sometimes it takes me a while to read a book. Yeah. Number 10, breaking the spine or keeping it like new. If possible, I try not to break the spine. Some books it's not possible, and that really pains me. If you cannot open it wide enough to read it and you have to really bend it, I don't really like that. Yeah, so no breaking of spines here. No mistreating of books in that respect. And the last question for this tag, number 11, do you write in your books? Well, okay, hold on a second. Okay, writing into books or not. This depends. So most of the time these days I don't write into books, and I have never written in books that I just read for my own pleasure. And this goes also for big things like Stephen Erickson. This is number 4 now that I'm reading at the moment, and yeah, I'm taking notes in a separate notebook for this, but it's getting cumbersome. So I don't know if I will keep this as pristine and nice as it's on the inside. I didn't annotate any of the first 3 books, and yeah, it's starting to bite a little bit, because if you want to do videos, yeah, you need something to remind yourself. Now, the other book type that I have is books that I used for work. For example, books that I used for teaching, like this one, for example. And you can see all types of things already hanging out of it, stuffed into it, tabs hanging out of it. Now, if you're a bit sensitive for this type of thing, you might want to close your eyes, because I will show you a couple of pages inside, because yeah, now I would kind of like underline stuff, as like here, or do I have somewhere I've actually made some notes in the margins, not so much in this one. Well, here's another one that's a more heavily underlined. Yeah, so I also would stuff all types of things into this, because if I have to make any announcements or whatever, then this would go into the book as well. Like there's still this slip of paper in here where it says rescheduled class Friday the 9th of November 9 a.m. So obviously some class that needed rescheduling. I also have kind of like other notes in the back for class. So yeah, so this would be work related books. The reason is it minimized for me kind like that I would forget stuff in my office. So I could have my PowerPoint presentation ready to go and then just need to grab the book and go and have everything I need for the class basically in here. All the extra info, like at the front here, for example, is how many cinemas there were in between 1918 and 1930 in Berlin, 2,300 to 5,000, just in case you were wondering. Now, so all that type of information that I might need for doing the class would go into the book and be written somewhere down somewhere. So so much for writing into books or not. Okay, let's move on to the other tag and see which questions we haven't answered from this one. Okay, long series or standalones? Both. I mean, I'm reading Melazen, it hardly gets any longer, but I also read a lot of standalones or trilogies, or I don't care. I'm not particular really. High fantasy or urban fantasy? Again, I do read both genres. Currently, I think I would say I read more high fantasy than urban fantasy. I more or less answered the one about when do I read, mostly either in the afternoon or evening time. And oh, do you smell your books? Yes, I do. I like the smell of books, so yes, I do sniff my books. Like Oscar Wilde, he used to sniff his books as well. Unlike Oscar Wilde, I do not tear off corners of the pages and eat them. No. I don't go that far now. Do you do cover buys? Well, not really, I think. I really go more by content than cover buys. There might be the odd one, but it's not my general way of picking a book. Digital or paper? Definitely paper if I can get it. I do read digital books, mostly if I need a book fast. If it's a book that I would not get here in Ireland fast enough, like something in German, then these days I go for a digital edition. And I'm reading Jenny Woods at the moment, and it seems to be impossible to get her books in paper form. So I had to go with a digital edition. I just gave up on my book order. I haven't really cancelled it, but I think it's on order for 4 months now, and there's no sign of the book, so I'm not holding my breath here. No. Then, oh yeah, new books or secondhand, both. I would have had more secondhand books when I was still a student or a grad student, just out of economic reasons, no money in other words. I try to buy books new these days because, yeah, the author needs to live off something, and there's lots of authors who do not get a lot per book actually. So yeah, I try to buy new these days, but there are still some reasons where I buy the book, how shall I say, where I go to the second-hand route, either because it's out of print, something like that would still make me buy something second-hand. And last question, online or offline? Mostly offline, and the main reason is that it's very convenient to buy online, especially if I buy ebooks, of course, then offline downloads. It's very convenient, but I also do not want bookshops to die, and this is my main reason, that if there are bookshops that I can go to and where I can buy my books, I try to go to the bookstore and buy offline. So okay, so this was, the text about my reading habits, how I read, why I read, what I read. No, not what I read, but my reading habits more or less. I hope you found this a little bit enjoyable. And yeah, until the next video, happy reading, everybody.